Hello guys, so we are move on in this video to implement Android Studio SQLite database tutorial, and in the previous video we had a chance to see the demo for this project, and in this video I will tell you how to create this project. So this is the current activity main XML for the project that we are supposed to build. So what we see here in this activity main XML, we have three buttons: add product, delete product, find product. We have a product ID text field to display in case the record will be found, and we have two edit text to type product name and product quantity. So these two fields will be used to populate database, and one of these fields, product name, will be used to find product in database. So we are starting from Hello World, just regular application for Android Studio. So what we will do, we will replace current layout that we currently have with the layout that I just discussed. So in order to save time, I already prepared applications. Here I'm using the relative layout. So, but feel free to use any layout you want. The next step is to bring data model class to the project. It will be a product Java class. So the content of this class is displayed right now in the screen. So the completed Java class contains private data members as ID, product name, and quantity for the internal storage of data columns of database. And the method to get and set those values, two constructors and set and get method. So I move to my project. Currently I have only basic activity with connecting to layout XML. I will create a new product class. So I will click on the package name. I will choose Java class and type here product. Press OK, and this class will be replaced with the content that I just discussed. So basically this class will have ID, product name, quantity, default constructor, two constructors with parameters, and setters and getters. The next, we're going to create a new Java class, a database helper class. It will be kind of like a database controller class. All database operations will be implemented by subclassing from Android library SQLite Open Helper class. So basically, this is a structure of this class right now in front of you. So we'll create a class that extends SQLite Open Helper. We declare the pub private static constant to declare database version, database name, name of the table, and columns. And in the constructor of the subclass, we call super method for the SQLite Open Helper to specify the database name and the current database version. So let's create new class database Open Helper. Database Open Helper, and the superclass for this class will be SQLite Open Helper. So I cannot misspell this class, that's why I just watch carefully for the prompt, and this class should be from Android database SQLite package. Press OK. So once we create this class, we received a prompt with the red bulb, and this bulb saying implement methods. So please choose this option and agree to select methods to implement. One more thing we need to do, we need to create a constructor for this purpose, and what I will do, I will choose here code, generate constructor, and I will create constructor with 4 arguments. Alright, so a lot of stuff done by default. So now we have to adjust code according to our needs. So I just would like to remind you that we have to bring those private static variables. Before doing this, I would like to show you the product table schema. So we have 3 columns: product ID integer, product name text, and product quantity integer. So let's go back to the project and insert private static variables. So database name will have a product DB with extension DB. Table products will have a name products. Column ID will be underscore ID to show this is a primary key. And 2 more, product name and quantity will be the second and the third column into database. So after this I have to adjust a little bit database open helper. So since my name will be database name, I copy this name and replace with the right one. I will insert comments here. So the context variable is a context attached to the database, the second argument's name of the database, the third argument is cursor factory extra validations and operations on the queries are on the database, and finally this is the version of the database. One more method we have to update, it's onCreate method. OnCreate method will have SQL statement containing instruction to create a new table with the appropriate columns, which is column ID, integer primary key, column product name is a text, and column quantity integer field to show the quantity. Then we pass this argument to the exact SQL statement to actually create database. OnUpgrade method will be simply having to drop table if exists. So it will be the content of non-create method. Just make sure that you're using DB argument, and it will be a content for upgrade method. And again I'm using just DB argument. Okay, so we finish with the basic method for any database development. We define constructor, we define onCreate, and we define onUpgrade. Now we're going to talk about how to insert database records. So in this case, the method to do this will have a name addProduct with a variable of product object, and the content value object will be created in the body of the method, as you see here, and they will be primed with the key value pairs for the data columns 1, 2, product name and product quantity. And remember, the one column will be going like auto increment the column with ID, so we don't need to use this column for populate our database. And finally, we have to a reference to the database to obtain get writable database mode. And finally, once the insertion has been performed, using db.insert name of the table, we have to close database. So don't forget the last arguments for the db insert is the object of content values. So we'll insert this method right after onUpgrade. I need more space here, and import content values library. So this method to insert database record right now is here. Once we're done with insertion, we have to do opposite method, deletion. So we will continue with the same database helper Java class. Deletion method will have a name delete product, and if you'll see, in this case you'll accept as an argument one product name that we want to delete, and product name is object of product class. So the method will use a SQL select statement to search for the entry based on the product name, and then it's open database as writable again. Using cursor, find a location for the result of the selection query, and if located, using delete statement, delete a record from the table. So again, I'm going back to the Java site and paste the code fragment that contains Java instructions to delete database record. So yeah, that code is absolutely identical that I just see like 1 minute on the slides. And the next method will be a method to find a product, to find database record based on product name. So in this case, we need a method to query the database. We would have argument string object that contain the name of the product to be located. So using a string, SQL select statement will be constructed to find all matching records in the table. For this purpose, we are again using db.rowQuery method, and we using a cursor to move into the first record. And for this purpose, only the first match will be used. For the purpose, we just leave only one record in this case. Otherwise, the product will return null, and yeah, that product method will be returned by that method upon completion. So we will do the last method for the current Java class, so for the controller, database controller. So we inserted find product method to find the database record at the end of the file. So in this case, we completed with database open helper class. So I would like to remind you that we use this class to constructor, on create, on upgrade, method to insert database record, method to delete database record, and finally a method to find database record based on the argument. Now we have to move to database activity Java class, to the main activity. If you remember, this class was generated automatically by Android Studio, and we have to update this class to keep the following information. So we will declare 3 local variables for the class text view, edit text, and product box and quantity box, and we update the onCreate method to using findViewById for those variables. So we will insert those fields as discussed, and don't forget to initialize those variables. So as usual, using findViewById to initialize widgets in the program. Finally, we need to add 3 more methods to this database activity, to the main activity. In this case, we're just using another name, database activity. So we have to add method for add product that has a name add product. That's just simply on click listener. We have to add click listener to the button delete product that has a name remove product. And finally, we need to add method to the button find product and with the name lookup product. So after constructor, we insert the first click listener for the add product button. It's pretty much straightforward here. So we initialize a database open helper. Then we read quantity from the quantity box. We read product name, and actually we add product based on the description of the product object variable, and set toast message and blanks to the old edit fields. So we have to do the same for find product. So we need to write a method to implement the click target method for the find product button. And finally we need to implement the onClick method for delete product. In this case we will have a name remove product. So the next will be click listener for the find product button with the name lookup product. So it's pretty much standard. We just call in find product method for the extracted field product box, and we show result. And finally the last method, click listener for delete product button. So what we do here for this button, we again activate database open helper mode, and we call delete product method from the database open helper controller. So basically if result is positive, so we clear edit fields and we just saying product deleted. Otherwise we just saying no match found. So it looks like we finished collecting all pieces together for the main activity. So I remind you, we have main activity is a name database activity with the 3 widgets initializing on create, and we have 3 listeners for the add button, for the find button, and for the delete product button. So now time is to execute the project. I'm executing project for Nexus 1 API 23, Android 6.0. I want to check also this file on the device file explorer. It looks like at the current moment device 24, 25 do not support file explorer. For this purpose I'm using Android device 23. Yeah, so let's try to add product. So I'm going to add, for example, very popular product milk with a quantity 55. Add product, and we'll try to find add one more product and press the same add product button. So let's try to find milk product, pressing find product button, and you see it works. Product with record with this record is found with number 1. And finally let's try to delete the record. So let's try to delete record cream. So we don't need another arguments for deletion. I don't think it will be error, but anyway, better to delete it. So delete record cream, and the product is deleted. And the last piece I would like to show you where to find application on the on the device memory. So I have to run tools, Android device monitor. So I want right now to go to the file explorer and find database SQLite file. So where is location of this file? Data, and then you have a lot of packages. You have to match your package com example sample MySQL product. Com example sample, I guess I made very hard name, sample MySQL product. That's correct. So in database folder you see the product DB was created, and what to do with this file? You can pull a file from the device, you can push a file onto the device, or you can simply delete the section, delete the action. What happens if you delete the file? When you run program again, it will be created again. So if you check my previous video, I already show you how to process this database file with those two buttons. So I'm not going to repeat it now. So that is all for this video. Hope you like it. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. When you complete this video, I will publish the project source code in case you need it. Thanks a lot.